What is up, guys? Zan from playbook.gg, and in this video we're taking a question from our YouTube comments. This one coming from Darren Bostic, who wants to know, hey, my main question is, how do I always get a hit stick? When I play people, as soon as they tackle me, it's a hit stick. It doesn't matter whether or not it's a defensive lineman. What is he doing? So we're going to go ahead and answer that question, but first I want you guys to hit that subscribe button. Before we dive into this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the great tutorials that we've got headed your way here on the playbook.gg YouTube channel. Okay guys, so welcome back. Now to kick off this question here from Darren, I want to go ahead and do a brief check-in on some settings updates that I have applied to the way that I play the game personally. This is something that I honestly picked up from watching other players stream and noticing that they've started to use these settings. And one that you would typically not leave on is one that I'm seeing a number of players go with, and that is defensive heat seeker assist. This is not something that is banned in competitive Madden. You could have these different settings for auto strafe, ball hawk, heat seeker, and switch assist. You could turn them on or off. It will not be impacted when you play on all Madden. However, typically speaking, when you play on all Madden, it will default those to off. You can still switch them on based on the difficulty, and you can still play with those things online. So you're going to want to use the defensive heat seeker assist. And essentially what that does is it will allow user control defenders to be steered towards the ball carrier when attempting to run or dive into them. Now, me personally, I've left this off my entire career, but myself, I've also had issues with forcing fumbles, much like Darren is saying in our question for this video. So when I switched to this, after watching a lot of other players, I've noticed that this does tend to help with your tackle success. More consistent tackling is going to lead to more opportunities to put big hits on the ball carrier. Now, the next part that we're going to kind of look at is we're going to start to look at depth charts. Typically you're thinking about, how do you set up a hit stick? Honestly, you need reps. You need to get reps. You're going to learn how to tackle, angles, things like that come with time. I can't necessarily teach you guys angles to take if you're not getting the reps to learn them on your own time. However, you guys all know that you want to take chances at hit stick fumbles when you have somebody else there to help clean up if they were to break the tackle. So you don't necessarily want to always go for hit sticks in the open field. That kind of goes without saying. But now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start to look at two main things that a lot of players possibly take for granted when they are looking at trying to get hit sticks. Now, obviously, the two ratings that you most want to look at are the actual tackle rating. What are the odds that you're going to trigger the tackle? And then two, what is your hit power? So as you go through and you sort these players by tackling rating, you're going to be able to find out which ones have the best tackle rating in the game. And then you also want to look at their hit power that corresponds to it. Me personally, I don't think that there's any real thresholds for hit power. And I'm going to explain why here in a second. And it's going to make a lot of sense to you guys as you think about your MUT teams as well. But typically what you want is you want 90 hit power. I would say that I don't really notice a difference between, say, 95 hit power and 90. Truthfully, I don't really notice a difference between 99 and 95. And the reason for that is you also want to look at your players and see if they have the big hitter trait. For me personally, the biggest thing possible in a player is whether or not they have the big hitter trait. I will take a player that has the big hitter trait in 90 hit power over a player that does not have the big hitter trait and has 99 hit power, for instance. So as we go through and look at some of the better hitters in the game, not very many of these are going to lack that chemistry or that trait. You see here, Wagner has it, Chancellor's going to have it, Keanu Neal has it. You're going to find very few players that have high hit power, but also no big hitter trait. But some of them do exist, and we'll start to kind of show you here. One that I definitely notice is actually would surprise you. We're going to go ahead and look at the Broncos. And the Broncos have Von Miller, who does not have the big hitter trait when you would expect him to, but he does have like 89 hit power, which is pretty solid hit power rating, all things considered. Me personally, like I said, I like to have 90, but we'll start to look at some players in the game that are like 90 hit power-ish in that range that do not have the trait. And essentially what the trait means is that if it's a computer-controlled player, they will be more prone to trigger a successful hit stick animation. So we're looking through here. You see TJ McDonald has it. We're going through. We start to get down into some of the guys in the 90s. So we keep looking. EA's pretty good, typically speaking, of giving guys that have big power, hit power ratings the trait. As you can see, they're fewer and further in between as we look through, and you see that they all kind of have the big hitter trait. But you will start to notice that some guys don't. And those are the guys that you want to leave off your field. So, for instance, there are players in Madden Ultimate Team, as you think through this, and Paul Krause. He's not the biggest hitter in the game by any stretch of the imagination. Paul Krause is definitely one of those guys that does have the big hitter trait, though. And because he has the big hitter trait, you'll take his middle of the road, low to mid 80s hit power, even in some previous years in the high 70s with his hit power rating, and he'll still make plays for you because he has this trait. Big hitter trait is so important. By far and away, the biggest thing to have, and then you want to look at your actual hit power rating. So this is more of a kind of philosophical approach to why people get hit sticks and force fumbles, Darren. The other thing is that when you go into game, you want to use those coaching adjustments. If you set your hitting to aggressive, that's going to tell the computer players, hey, I want you to try a hit stick if at all possible. Now, if you field 11 big hitters on your team and you turn your hitting to aggressive, then you're going to start to notice that they're really trying to lay the wood more. Now, of course, that leads to broken tackles as well, but you also see situations where a player will break a tackle, spin off that tackle, and then because he's in the middle of spinning off of that tackle, somebody else comes and lays the wood to the vulnerable ball carriers. They're breaking the initial tackle, and you'll be able to clean up with a fumble. Something else that's really important is that you do not want to hit stick low. The hit stick low this year is actually a cut stick. It's designed for taking on blockers and trying to counter the truck move. If you just low hit stick a ball carrier in the open field, I believe that the fumble chance ratings are not high at all, if there is a fumble chance at all. It's designed to take on blockers and counter the truck by getting leverage underneath somebody who's getting low to truck you. You always want to go with the high hit stick. So when you're flicking the stick, you want to flick the stick up, not down, to force more fumbles. So these are just a few things that you could start doing, Darren, to improve your chances of getting more hit stick fumbles. Guys, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments below. If you guys have any questions that you'd like to see us answer on the YouTube channel, make sure you guys drop them. Always hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck. If you like this video, check out one of the videos on your screen right now. And for more in-depth analysis, visit www.playbook.gg for detailed game plans written by pro Madden players. Master the game with playbook.gg.